Hi, today we are going to be unboxing a Nuvo DooD, and a Nuvo DooD is basically one step up from recorder and one step down from clarinet. So let's get started. Straight out of the box, we've got this case. It says Nuvo DooD on it, and it's D-O-O-D, DooD. On the other side of the case, there is a placard that says, "This is my DooD," so you can put your student's name on it. Inside is the Nuvo DooD. As you can see, I ordered the black and green version, but I think it also comes in black and blue, black and pink, white and green, white and blue, white and pink. So the case unzips open all the way like this. And there is a little pocket here because the DooD comes with two reeds. One of them is already on the instrument, and then the other one just comes loose in the case. So this pocket in the case is for the reed that you're not using at the time. It can just slip right in there. Otherwise, the case is very nice. Also in the case comes a fingering chart and little user's manual for the DooD. So here's the fingering chart. According to the fingering chart, you can play C4, which is middle C, up to D5. So it has slightly higher than an octave range, and you can play chromatic notes like C sharp, E flat, F sharp, B flat. On the other side, there's some information about playing your first note, the two different reeds, finding music to play on this, and how to clean it. By the way, this is waterproof, so it can be cleaned with warm soapy water. There's also a little picture that shows you the parts of the instrument and how to set up your DooD, basically how to put the reed on. The instrument itself has 7 keys, 3 for your left hand and 4 for your right hand, and it has a tone hole on the back of the instrument for your left thumb. There's also a thumb rest for your right thumb as well. The keys on the front of the instrument, some of them do allow for half holing so that you can play chromatic notes. At the top of the instrument, it does come with a little covering. Feels like it's made out of rubber or silicone. That's just to protect the instrument. And something that's really, really, really awesome about this instrument is it comes with a ligature that doesn't have to be removed. Okay, so that's really fantastic for young students who might not have the patience or the understanding to know how a ligature works and to get it in correctly. So with this one, you just press this button down and it opens up, and you can take the reed out or put the reed back in. Like I said earlier, this instrument does come with 2 reeds, one that's already inside it, which has a number 1 on it, and then the extra one in the case says 1.5. So the 1.5 is stiffer, the 1 is softer, so it's better for beginners. That's why it's the one that comes straight on the instrument, so you can take it out and start playing it immediately. You can see it does look very clarinet-esque. It's got the ligature, the reed, the shape at the top. The shape of the whole thing really is very clarinet-esque, has a bell at the bottom. Even better though, it looks very cool. Young students will love that. And it's smaller, which will be good for younger students, and it's very light as well. This is lighter than a regular clarinet would be. All right, let's see what it sounds like. Just a quick disclaimer, I am an elementary school music teacher, so I do play a lot of recorder. I am not a clarinet player. I did play a little bit of clarinet in my woodwind methods class in college, but I took that class probably like 6, maybe 7 years ago, so that's your disclaimer. Now let's see if I can actually make a sound on this. The low C, middle C, I can make really strong. The others, a little weaker. Yeah, I'm putting the same amount of air into each note, but the C flows really freely through the instrument. The D above that, not so much. songs on this. I'm gonna start with Hot Cross Buns. Now let's do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star so we can hear some of the lower notes. Articulation is kind of difficult on this a little bit. I'm not sure if it's because I'm not a clarinet player or if it's the instrument itself, but just thought I would note that. Let's talk final thoughts about this. Some huge pros are that it is small, which is great for smaller children, and it's light, which is also great for smaller children. You can wash it with soap and warm water, which is great for all ages. Also, the ligature mechanism we've got going on here is really great for kids or for any beginner because it's not as difficult to align your reed and your ligature and keep all the parts together. Like this ligature doesn't even come off, I don't think. And it comes with 2 reeds as well. It also sounds a lot like the clarinet, very comparable to a clarinet, which is awesome for a beginner who's interested in clarinet. Also, you can half hole, you can make chromatic notes. The keys are really easy to press. They're close together, which is, again, great for younger students and smaller students. Also, I think it looks really awesome. Some cons about this, obviously the range is a lot smaller than the recorder and the clarinet. For beginners and for children, that's not going to be too big of an issue, but for someone who already plays recorder and then they come to this instrument, the recorder player might expect to be able to play a higher range of notes and then they won't be able to if they're transitioning up to this instrument. Another con, I ordered 3 of these and I've tried to play on all 3 of them. Some of them are harder than others, and what I think it is the reed. I think at times my reed isn't perfectly centered or perfectly at the right height, and so that makes it really, really difficult for me to play and make a note. I can squeak on this like a real clarinet super easily. So if you are giving this to children who have never played a reed instrument before, you're probably going to be hearing that squeaking sound a lot. So that could be a huge con for you. One more con, I'm not sure if this is my problem or the instrument's problem, or I guess I should say the reed's problem. It is kind of difficult for me to articulate new notes. So slurring is really easy on this instrument and articulation is a little bit harder for me. So that's something you might want to look out for with your students as well. Another con, which I think is the most important con to know, is that the recorder and the DooD fingerings are very, very similar to each other. So it's going to be super easy for a child or any student to transition from recorder playing into DooD playing. However, the fingerings for a clarinet are extremely different than both the recorder and the DooD. So it's gonna be like starting from ground zero for a student who's trying to learn the clarinet after they've already had the recorder and the DooD experience. It's gonna be completely different. They're gonna have to start all over from scratch. Not only that, but the clarinet is also a transposing instrument. It's pitched in B flat most of the time, and instruments like a piano, a flute, a recorder, the DooD, they are not transposing instruments. So the sound you hear is the sound that it is, essentially. And that's not how it is for clarinet. So that's one huge con, is that if your eventual goal is to transition from recorder into DooD into clarinet, it's gonna be pretty difficult for a student to go from DooD into clarinet for a variety of different reasons. So if you are trying to pick up the DooD just so you can eventually play the clarinet, I think I would skip it. I think I would just start on clarinet, and that would be a better use of a student's time and a teacher's time. So in actuality, I would only recommend this instrument, the DooD, for a recorder student who needs an extra challenge or who wants something different. One last con, at the beginning when your students are trying this, I think it's going to take a lot of trial and error to get them to make their first sound on this, because not only does the reed have to be in the right spot, but for a student who's never played a reed instrument before, they have a lot to figure out. They'll have to figure out how much of the mouthpiece needs to go inside their mouth, and like where to perfectly position their top teeth, their bottom teeth, their lips. It's a lot for a child to figure out, but I'm assuming you would let students try this if they've already started recorder and they're really good at recorder. So odds are that student is going to be musically inclined already, and they're going to be a hard worker, and they're going to be interested and have the drive and motivation to make a good sound on this. So if you have a student like that who's trying to play this instrument, I think it will be okay. It'll still be a little bit of trial and error, but I think they will quickly be able to figure it out. For a student who's not too motivated or not really into music, I think this would be a really huge challenge, and it might not be worth the effort that they're having to put in or that you're having to put in to get them to make the good sound on this instrument. So how would I use these in my classroom? Like I said, I did purchase 3 of these, and I kind of touched on this already, but my goal for these is my students already start on soprano recorder, and in every group there are some students who really like the recorder. They're super excited about it, they're motivated, they take it home, they practice, they get really good, and eventually it seems like they're light years ahead of their classmates. So for students like that, if they need an extra challenge and you need something more to keep them engaged after they've already surpassed everyone else, you could have them move up into this. This would be a great challenge for them. This would keep them engaged and motivated to keep learning, to keep practicing at home. So my goal with this is to let 3 students per class that would get to play these, and that would be a great thing to keep them challenged and motivated. So that's what I'm planning on doing with these in my classroom. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you're a little bit inspired to maybe try one of these instruments out, or to get one or many for your students if you have students. And happy playing. Bye. That's depressing.